Here follows an extract from my book Artful Designs, available from Amazon. Chapter 2, Part 1. Theodore Hunter hovered nervously over the shoulders of anyone and everyone as they carefully stowed away precious works of art into containers to be placed into storage while the scheduled refurbishment work was carried out in the Whitworth Art Gallery. Each worker was wearing cotton gloves as they wrapped the artistic outpourings of greats such as Constable, Turner and Ford Madox Brown in buffered acid-free tissue paper. The 3% calcium carbonate buffering was to protect these national treasures from acid migration by acting as a filter to neutralise any acid in the atmosphere. Each piece was also protected by a sheet of silica to absorb any moisture and offset any changes in humidity. Only then was each item wrapped in a polythene foam and stowed away in a packing case. The gallery's archives had the aura of a sanctum sanctorum, and nobody had said a word for some time. The only noise had been the rustling of paper and Theo's laboured breathing as he scurried between the workers in turn. "Oh, for goodness sake, Theo, go and get some lunch. You're making us all jumpy. You can trust us to take care here. Otherwise, feel free to do all the work yourself. As it is, you're no help at all. In fact, you're a positive hindrance," said Drew. Theo threw his arms up in the air and, incoherently muttering to himself, he blustered out of the door. As he blundered away, he collided with a figure attempting to enter and join them. Looking slightly perplexed, a tall, thin-framed man with a shockingly large hooked nose came through the doorway. As he stepped into the archive, he straightened his dark blue double-breasted jacket, which perfectly matched the sharply creased trousers. With the carriage of a naval officer, he realigned his bright red tie and scanned the room for a familiar face. Glancing across the room, his eyes passed over the other silent figures until they rested upon Drew. "Rick, how nice to see you. You chose your moment well. Let me introduce you to my colleagues," said Drew. "Sally, this is Diederik van der Molen. He's from a gallery in Amsterdam and is spending some time at the Manchester Art Gallery. Rick, meet Sally Bickerton. Sally is assistant curator here. I'm not entirely sure that you two will get along. One of Sally's areas of responsibility here is the Constable collection." The two shook hands as Rick attempted to dispel Drew's gloomy introduction. With a broad grin that revealed long and slightly crooked teeth, Rick said, "Drew likes to tease me because I do not share his depth of love for the work of some of your English painters. I do not tease him about his lack of appreciation of my national artistic heritage. We seek to educate each other." "Indeed we do," said Drew. "Now, let me introduce you to Scott Malkin, our budding protégé. Scott is on placement here and is become invaluable to us, to me in particular." "Hello, Scott, I'm pleased to meet you. What did I just stumble into?" "Wasn't that Theodore Hunter who just stormed past me?" asked Rick. "Yes, it was. He's making all of our lives an absolute misery. He's so on edge that he's making us all nervy. He's so worried that something will get damaged, but he's making it worse and none of us can work properly. I make so many mistakes when he's hovering over me, and I can't concentrate because of his constant fidgeting. I can understand his concern and it's quite natural, but he's got to get a handle on it. He's got to let us do our job," said Sally. "I don't know about anybody else, but I've had enough of being cooped up in here for one morning. I was going to bring Scott over to Mag to photograph some paintings with me later this afternoon, but I've had enough for now, and I think it's time that I educate this young man in the delights of the delicious soup that's served there. Who'd like to join us?" said Drew. Sally shook her head. "I'd better go and calm Theo's ruffled feathers. I made a packed lunch for today, so I guess I'd better eat it after going to the bother of preparing it." "I'll walk back with you if you're finished here. It's obvious that now isn't a good time for a tour. You can show me around another time. I've yet to experience British soup. I'll join you if I may and find out what I've been missing," said Rick. For the full book of Artful Designs, available in paperback or as an ebook, follow the link in the cards, in the description box, or find details on my website at sharonbill.com. Thanks for listening.